Are you or a loved one disabled? Do you feel alone, lost, and confused as to how to win your Social Security case? If you're watching this video, it's probably because you have so many questions and you're desperately looking for the answers. Hi, my name is Avi Leibovic, and I'm the owner at Benefits for All and the lead attorney at Avi Leibovic Associates. Over the course of my 20-year career, I've overseen the processing and screening of over 500,000 disability cases, working with the largest hospitals, neighborhood clinics, primary care physicians, and even individuals who had no access to care at all. My strategies for how to win the case have made me one of the top experts in Social Security law in the entire nation. My life and my career were going great. And then one day it all came crashing down. It started first with some abdominal pains. And before I knew it, I'd been admitted to the hospital several times and I required multiple surgeries. I found myself unable to work and disabled and in desperate need of my own benefits. I understand exactly how you feel. I was in your shoes. And I'm going to take you through the process and help you and give you everything that I know so that you can win your case. I'm recovered and I'm back at work. And I have a newfound passion for helping disabled people because I myself have been there too. Call our office today for a free screening and to see how we can help you with your Social Security case. At the same time, enjoy these videos and webinars that we've prepared to help you understand how to win your Social Security case. Hey everyone, this is Avi Leibovic and you're watching another amazing webinar offered by Benefits for All, where we teach you how to win your Social Security case without having to pay the cost of an expensive attorney. I'm standing here in front of the downtown container park, which is right off of Fremont Street. It's a newer area over here, and as you can see, they've gone and they've obtained all of these shipping containers, right? These big steel shipping containers. And rather than having storefronts, they've stacked all these shipping containers, and they've made little stores and little restaurants, little booths and stuff like that inside the shipping containers. Really a great place to come with your family and to come check it out and come walk around and basically have a great day or a great afternoon. I wanted to go ahead and I wanted to take out some of my notes over here because I wanted to take the time right now to try to go through another one of the forms. You know, the forms with SSA, people, they're often overlooked and people don't understand how important those forms are. You know, if you don't fill out your form correctly, you're going to have a major problem moving forward, right? If you don't fill out your form correctly, if you do anything wrong on your form, they may go ahead, Social Security, and they may not accept the case, they may not process the case, they may send it to a different office. You don't know what type of things could possibly happen, so you need to make sure that your forms are correct. Now, the reason you purchased, you know, these webinars is that you could complete your case and you could do your hearing and your appeals and even your application on your own, right? You don't want to pay the cost of an expensive attorney. So let's talk about one of the forms that you're going to need, which is the 561. The 561, the SSA 561, is the primary appeal form that you're going to use for a request for reconsideration. So again, let's take a half a second to review. We've talked about the fact that there's an application. We've talked about the fact that if the application gets denied, there's a reconsideration, a request for reconsideration. Then we've talked about the fact that after the request for reconsideration, there's also a request for a hearing before an administrative law judge and eventually appeals counsel and district court if you need it. But we're going to focus now just on the request for reconsideration, the second part, or the first appeal, but the second stage after the application. So let's bring us all up to the same page. You filed your application at your local district office. You've gone ahead and you've done the best that you could to try to get your case approved right at the application level. But you watched the webinar that was specifically for your state, which talked about the win-loss rate. Now in an application, we said that the approval rate, rather I'll go through the denial rate. The denial rate is close to about 68% nationally. 68% nationally. So in most states, you're running more or less a very, very good chance of getting denied. So you have to be prepared that after the 6 or 8 or 9 months of waiting for your decision, you have to be prepared that you may have to go ahead and actually request for reconsideration. So let's talk about the 561, which is one of the main forms that you're going to have to fill out on a request for reconsideration. Now, what would you want to request a reconsideration for? You all usually have two different choices. One is, well, let's say three. One is well, I'll call it a technical denial. Okay, one is a medical denial, and the third one's I'm going to call it a overpayment, appeal, okay, on an overpayment. So what does that mean specifically? A technical denial means that you were not denied because of your medical condition. You were denied because of some other reason. Remember when we were applying for SSI, we talked about you needed to have a citizenship criteria, you needed to have a residency criteria to your state, you needed to have an income criteria, you needed to have a resource criteria, and then you needed to have the medical criteria. Right? So let's put the medical part of your case aside and let's talk about everything that is non-medical, right? Citizenship, residency, income and resources for the most part, and let's assume that they denied you. Why did they deny you? I don't know, maybe they didn't find you to be a resident, maybe they didn't find you to be a citizen or your citizenship status is unclear, maybe your income or your resources were above the limits. There's a lot of different reasons why they could have denied you, and any one of those reasons would be a reason that you would fill out a 561 appeal request for reconsideration appeal form, SSA 561. The other reason you might want to appeal, we said, is for a medical denial. That means exactly what it says, is that it's a denial or you're requesting appeal based on the medical findings by the Disability Determination Services, right? Your technical aspects are fine, your residency, your citizenship, your income and your resources. Your problem, however, though, is that even though you're approved for those, they have a problem with your medical condition, right? So you're not having a technical denial, you had a medical denial based on your medical condition, and your 561 is going to be starting the appeal process, the reconsideration to appeal the medical denial. I did throw in something called an overpayment. That means that if you got your case paid, approved, and there was time to pay it, they may have felt that for some reason there was a month that you weren't eligible and that Social Security overpaid you on your SSI claim. If SSA overpaid you, you're going to owe them money unless you can straighten it out. So a 561 might also be something that you would use to try to get that the overpayment cleared out. Let's look at some of the specific fields so we understand the specific areas on the 561 form. I'm going to reference my notes. I apologize that I'm holding my phone, but that's the best way to do it at nighttime instead of struggling with paper. And let's go through it together because you should all have your 561 papers in front of you now if you're going to do it on your own. Let's go through it together. The first box is your claimant signature. It actually says optional, but if you're signing it, then that's terrific. If there's a representative helping you, you're going to want to do the representative, but in most cases you're going to just write self. Your mailing address is very important for both yourself and your representative. On another one of the webinars, when I talk about the 827, on another one of the webinars, when I talked about the 827, I talked about the fact that you may have gone ahead and you may have changed around your mailing address from when you started, and now you have a new mailing address, so you need to update both your mailing address and any other mailing address for a representative, there's someone helping you. Obviously the city, state, zip code, you need to go ahead and you need to also have your telephone number updated and the date. Now, at some point it's going to ask you, and Social Security fills it out actually, they're asking Social Security, has an initial determination been made? Is this request filed timely? And that's going to be filled out by your district office. You don't need to worry about that. The main thing that you need to worry about is understanding that you have the contact information and you're good to go on the contact information. You need to understand that what? You need to understand that the determination could be on either also a Title II or a Title 16. So you may have to be specific on what it is that you're going ahead and you're going to go ahead and list out over there. Now let's talk about the request for reconsideration. Now what's going to happen is on this 561 form is, I apologize, there we go. Once you get to the actual request for reconsideration, after the first part, you're going to the name of the claimant's Social Security number, the claim number. If it's different than the Social Security number, that may often happen if there's a minor. And then it's going to ask you for the issue being appealed. And in that case, you can write it in plain English. I believe that I'm disabled and I should not have been appealed. I believe that I'm a citizen and you denied me for being a citizen. I believe that I am within the limits of income and resources. Keep it really simple. Or you can just write, if you're not sure why you're not, just say, I want to appeal my Title II or my Title 16. I want to appeal my SSI, SSDI, whatever you need to write, you're going to write the reason over there. You're going to go ahead and you're going to make a statement that you don't agree with the Social Security Administration and you want to go ahead and you want to appeal your case. Now, there's three ways to appeal. There's a case review, there's an informal conference, or there's a formal review. You can always pick a case review, and Social Security will go ahead and do the case review. An informal review is anything that is other than a medical issue. All right, we just talked about those before. Anything of the technical denials, that would be when you would pick an informal conference. And a formal conference is you would pick this appeal if SSA is stopping or lowering your SSI amounts, right? That's usually the overpayments. So like we said, if you're doing a standard appeal, you're going to want to do the case review. If you're doing a technical review, you may want to pick an informal conference, but you could still go ahead and select the case review. But certainly if you're appealing the amount that was given to you, or if you received a notice that SSA is going to terminate your benefits, you want to go ahead and select the formal conference. Again, you're going to go ahead and you're going to give the contact information for yourself and your representative, if you have one, the city, state telephone number, and you're going to let the Social Security office go ahead and fill out the bottom part of that form. And that's pretty much it. You're going to go ahead and you're going to use this form in conjunction with some of the other forms that you need to file, which will probably be a disability report, the 827 to release information, other forms that will be there. Understanding how to begin the process of a reconsideration, a request for reconsideration, is essential to moving your case forward. You want to win your case. And remember, you don't have to be worried that you're losing your money. From the time that your application was filed on an SSI case, you're going to lock in that month of application. If it's an SSDI, it will go before then. Potentially, if you're eligible, if your onset date is before the application date, you can go 12 months. But you always have to remember you need a 5-month qualifying period before you can get paid on that. But in general, you're going to want to understand that you're not losing days just because you're appealing it. Your case is being preserved, the application date is being preserved, and once you get approved, if you get approved, and I'm going to teach you how you will get approved, you will be able to go ahead and collect payment on all of those dates from when you first filed your application. Okay, so again, I want to encourage all of you to not get frazzled in these webinars. These webinars are here for your benefit. I want to encourage each of you to take the time to not feel pressure with these webinars. You should listen to them in the comfort of your home, or when perhaps if you're sitting on a park on your phone, on a mobile device, you can watch it on your iPad or any other thing that you want to look at. Sit with a soup, sit with a tea, sit with your feet up if you need it, make yourself comfortable, and just listen to what I'm saying. It's very simple, my friends. You had an application and got denied. We're now at the request for a reconsideration, and then if that gets denied, you're going to go ahead and you're going to get the request for an appeal, for a hearing before an administrative law judge. We're just focusing in this webinar on the request for reconsideration and the form that needs to be filled out to get that process started. Now, whereas before we said in most states the unfavorable rate was about 68% nationally, unfortunately the unfavorable rate at the reconsideration level is even much higher. It's close to about 88%. That means 88% or so in 2016 of all of the reconsiderations that are filed are going to get denied. Chances are that will probably include some of you. Again, so what does that mean? It just means that you're going to have another bite at the apple. You're going to have to go ahead within 60 days of that denial, that reconsideration. You're going to have to go ahead and request eventually a request for hearing before an administrative law judge. Now there'll be a separate webinar on how to fill out that form, as well as all the other forms attached with that. But this is specifically just for requesting the reconsideration, and the takeaways are as follow. The takeaways are what? You can request it if it's a technical denial. You can request a reconsideration if it is a medical denial. You can request a reconsideration if SSA is going to stop your benefits, or if there's an overpayment and they want to reduce your benefits. There's a lot of different reasons why you may want to request a reconsideration, and that is within your right. One caveat, and this is very, very important. One of the reasons that sometimes people go ahead and they pick a request for reconsideration, I want everyone to focus in over here, is because perhaps the district office didn't agree with you on your onset date. They may have said, you know, let's take an example. You may want to make it really easy. You said you came, you like that? You like the flyer there? Here's our friend. Isn't that great? Only in Vegas can you get a grasshopper attacking a military jeep and shooting fire. Again, we're in downtown Fremont Street, just a little bit past Fremont Street at the Container Park. Certainly you can come down here, make some friends, see the sights, have a great time. So what was the caveat? Let's wait for this to finish so that you can focus on what I'm saying. And benefits for all, www and benefits for all. My name's Avi Leibovic. Only I'm going to bring you these type of webinars. I'm going around the United States. I'm coming to your town. I'm meeting the Social Security offices. I'm meeting the ODR offices. I'm getting to know the people and the flavor of every city, county, as I make my way from Los Angeles over to New York. Maybe they'll let me finish the webinar, maybe they won't, I don't know. What would you rather? Would you rather that you listen to me or you check this out? There's so many great things here to see, it's really unbelievable. All right.
How you doing?
How you doing? All right, folks, I think that's it. So let's get back to what we were saying. A very important caveat. You need to be very careful about this when you request a reconsideration or when you request a hearing before a judge. Why? Because you think that maybe you're going to come out ahead on your reconsideration. You think that maybe you're going to come out ahead on your hearing before the judge. That's not always the case. It's possible that perhaps one of the lower levels, meaning either the application level or the reconsideration level, may find you disabled. They may find you disabled with a certain onset date and a certain scope of time, and then you may appeal it with a reconsideration thinking that you were going to get more days or more months. And you know what? Maybe the reconsideration level decision or the decision by the judge says, you know, you took a risk when you appealed it because you asked for another set of eyeballs to look at it, and you thought we were going to give you more months because you felt that you were entitled to more months because you were disabled for more months. But you know what? In reality, we don't think that you're more disabled. We think that you're less disabled, and we may reduce your months, and we may deny you in its entirety, you know, completely. You may be left with nothing. So you have to be very careful when you receive your decision. You have to really kind of dig deep and check yourself and say, am I really disabled? Was I really disabled for this amount of time? Do I want to appeal this? I already got approved for a certain amount of months. Maybe I should just be humble, tread softly and move forward, because you never know if you run the risk of requesting a reconsideration or going before a judge. That judge may decide to ultimately go ahead and reduce your benefits or take them away completely. Anyways, the 561 is the form you need to fill out. You can do it. Take it out, download it from the webinar. It's on the side over there, or go ahead and click one of the resource pages. You can also go ahead and go to SSA.gov. You can go to Google and just put the SSA 561 form in, and it will show up. There's a lot of different things that you could do in order to get this form or any other form. In the meantime, I'm Avi Leibovic. You're watching a tremendous and wonderful webinar from M-Benefits for All, www.mbenefitsforall. I encourage you to come check out our webpage. If you need help, we can help you as the motorcycles whiz on by. I hope you feel good. You're going to do great with your case. Keep watching the webinars. You're going to learn a lot. I'm going to teach you a lot. I'm going to teach you how to win your case without having to pay the fees of an expensive attorney. Okay, until next time, I'm Avi Leibovic, and I wish you the best of luck. Thank you very much.